Good morning. Tim Atterbury here to present my thesis of video games, more good than harm. I believe that video games have a useful purpose other than entertainment. I think that they do add to um, the education of children, particularly as relates to the use of technology and the advancement of technology. Video games have long been the topic of debate regarding violent and antisocial behavior. Some argue that the playing of violent video games leads to aggressive and even violent behavior. First-person shooter games, in which the role being played by the gamer is that of the person who is shooting at others, have been identified as these culprits. Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, which is this fellow right here, retired lieutenant colonel from the United States Army, is the author of On Killing: The Psychological Cost of Learning to Kill in War and Society. Colonel Grossman believes that first-person shooter games have an influential role on those who engage in violence, such as school shootings. Colonel Grossman states this is not an attack on all video games. Video games are an interactive medium. They demand and develop trial and error and systematic problem-solving skills, and they teach planning, mapping, and deferment of gratification. So Colonel Grossman, even though he believes that first-person shooter video games contribute to violence in society, he also acknowledges that video games do have an educational role. This is an example of a first-person shooter game where the person is viewing the sights of a weapon system as if they were holding it. In some games, they're actually holding something similar to a weapon and not just using a joystick type controller. Video games accounted for $6.35 billion in sales in 2001 in the United States alone. Compare this to a tabulation of all of the mass shootings in the United States from 1982 until 2017. There were 85 mass shootings in this 35-year period, which averages 2.42 per year. Only one of those occurred in 2001. William D. Baker was a former Navistar employer, Navistar employee who was fired from the company in 1994 and scheduled to report for a term of imprisonment for stealing from his former employer. Instead, 66-year-old Baker returned to his former workplace on February 5, 2001, and opened fire on employees, killing 4 and wounding 4 others. Baker also killed himself on scene. Authorities said they suspected that Baker's theft conviction and imminent imprisonment provoked the attack. There is no link between video gaming and this shooting. Other shootings from the 35-year span have been identified as acts of terrorism and other incidents of workplace violence. Only a handful would involve the demographic of shooter who may have been influenced by video gaming. Many other factors also contribute to these acts of violence. I am satisfied that the statistical analysis alone does not bear out the notion that video games, even first-person shooter games, contribute to violence in society. CNN Money reported in November of 2001 that a Microsoft Xbox gaming console cost $299. Let's round that figure to $300. This is over 2 million video game consoles, but the $6.35 billion in sales also includes individual games, which are far less expensive than the consoles and would therefore be more plentiful. With all of these video games in circulation, and clearly in popular use, it would be perfectly reasonable to expect that there would be many more mass shootings if the influence which led to them was the violent video games. The alternative is that video games do not contribute to acts of violence, but are indeed beneficial to the players as educational tools, even the violent games. Playing video games, including violent shooter games, may boost children's learning, health, and social skills, according to a review of research in American Psychologist. Contrary to the perception that video gamers are intellectually lazy, such play actually may strengthen a range of cognitive skills such as spatial navigation, reasoning, memory, and perception. According to several studies reviewed in the article, this is particularly true for shooter video games, which are often violent. The authors found. In a Massachusetts Institute of Technology paper, some of the specific benefits were isolated and identified. Primarily, however, video games elicit powerful emotional reactions in their players, such as fear, power, aggression, wonder, or joy. Video game designers create these emotions by balancing a number of game components, such as character traits, game rewards, obstacles, game narrative, competition with other humans, and opportunities for collaboration with other players. Understanding the dynamics behind these design considerations might be useful for instruction. Might be useful for instructional technologists who design interactive digital learning environments. I asked my 11-year-old son today about Minecraft, which is a game that he enjoys. And I asked him to tell me what it is. And he started telling me about Minecraft. Now, I had checked out 2 books on Minecraft. And he told me what Minecraft is. Minecraft is a game where you create things, you build structures to protect yourself from the elements and to protect yourself from monsters at night and wild animals. And while he's telling me this, I'm asking him what did he do with Minecraft? How does the game work? He's explaining it to me, and he's using words like build, construct, identify, engineering. And after he's done describing the game to me, I asked him, I said, well, Jacob, when you play this game, what do you learn while you're playing this game? And he thought for a minute. He said, well, nothing really. But everything that he described to me were learning words. The process of learning, the process of identifying spatial relationships, the engineering, the construction, identifying different elements within the screen in the game. All of these things are learning processes that he's developed from Minecraft. His class just recently did a Rube Goldberg project, and he was one of the construction engineers on that project. He plays with Legos constantly, and Minecraft is almost akin to a digital version of Legos. So it does have very useful, very practical application, instructional techniques and educational. Although it is a pastime, it's a game designed for leisure, but it is very much an educational instrument as well. And I think that many of the video games have educational and instructional purposes, if not primary, at least secondary purposes. And I think that they all serve a useful benefit other than merely as a pastime. With that said, I think that parents have the responsibility of limiting the amount of time that children spend on video games rather than outdoor exercise and more physically healthy activities where they can get fresh air, exercise, and face-to-face interaction with others. Thank you. And here's my reference page so far, what I've collected.